What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Benny Uchiha here again, and today for the very first time I'm going to be reviewing an anime series called Plunderer. This series is one of my favorites of all time, and I am sure after watching this review you would enjoy it too. Also, if you haven't already, do ensure that you subscribe to the channel so that you be up to date for when I upload very good content. With that out of the way, we'll start the video. So Plunderer, this is a series that is centered around our protagonist, Richter Batch, or Batch as I like to call him. He's otherwise known as the Red Baron, the Blitzkrieg Baron, because of his speed, and it's basically a story about his redemption as he set out to live the remaining of his nearly immortal life, because these guys, they live for hundreds of years, and by these guys I mean the barons. There are about 7 of them, and Batch is the Red Baron. He is the strongest among them and like the best all round. So he initially set out to live the remainder of his life in solitude, but then he met a girl named Hina-chan, and on her dying mother's wish, Hina-chan had set out to look for Batch. She did not know he was a Red Baron, but she had set out to look for him. They met initially in a town, and she eventually wandered off with some bad guys, and because of not knowing who he was and because he was unwilling to reveal himself, she nearly got raped, but she got groped twice, once by Batch himself, and then Batch would eventually go to save her, thereby revealing himself as the Blitzkrieg Baron, and then he would eventually leave her for her own good. But then he would leave her to go to another town to save and grope another girl. He also saved her town from the army, and he would eventually come back to her to save her from another pedophile. Like, pedophiles are a recurring theme in this anime. It's not like some Boku no Pico shit, you just have to get used to it. He would eventually be reunited with Hina-chan, and they would start their long and arduous journey with each other. He, Hina, and his other companion, Nana Senpai, we would eventually find out who she is and how important she is to the story. But before that, we all have to agree. Batch and Hina, they have to get together. They have to end up together, right? I see. So I do recommend that you watch it, but before you go to watch it, I would have to explain to you certain things, as well as giving you a brief history of the war. And I'll be explaining number counts, I'll be explaining a device called a ballot, and I'll be explaining star theft bouts. So there was a war that happened about 300 years ago, and during that war, 7 warriors were chosen to help put an end to the war. Those warriors were, as you might have guessed, the barons. Richter Batch himself being the strongest baron of all. And if I were to compare him to someone, he would be a cross between Barry Allen's Flash and Sasuke Uchiha on steroids. No, not you. So Batch was the strongest baron, and together with the other barons, they helped to easily put an end to the war. They overpowered everybody. Like, during the war, there were cases where guns ran out of ammo and all that. People were left fighting hand to hand, and the barons were like superheroes tearing through everybody. So they were extremely powerful. They killed an uncountable number of people, and at the time it was said that they carved the number of people they killed into their skin. And you note that people then did not know what number counts are, but they soon came to realize that a number count is essentially a tattoo everyone gets from the day they are born. It is directly tied to some sort of action or act you perform throughout the course of your life. At times, it's tied to what the people around you feel towards you. Like in the case of Hina, it was the distance, the combined distance that her and her mom had traveled, and it was about 44,000 kilometers. Damn. And in Rich Tobachi's case, it was the number of girls that had turned him down. That was negative 999. It was at the back of his fist. Ouch. And it's also worthy to note that if you have a lower number count than someone, like someone with a higher number count can give orders to someone with a lower number count and they cannot disobey those orders. If you want to disobey the orders, being the person with the lower number count, you have to engage in something called a star theft bout. What this is essentially a battle whereby two combatants like bet a certain number out of their number count. The winner takes the loser's number and it gets added to his. The loser loses the number that they had bet on the fight. And if your number were to ever drop to about 0, you'll be dragged into the abyss. But what is essentially black hands reaching for the depths to pull you. Sort of like Full Metal Alchemist if you watched it. And also, certain people, majorly the army, they use devices called the ballots to boost their number count. What the ballot is essentially an external device that has a number count of its own. Some have millions, some have tens of thousands, some have hundreds of thousands. Some ballots have been said to just increase with the will of the user. They are deadly overpowered and like people are hustling for them. So you can use a ballot, an external ballot, to boost your number count. And the ballot usually comes with a power. Yeah, ballot usually comes with power. Rich Tobachi's ballot was his sword. Hina had that ball. That's an example of another ballot. It boosts your number count and it boosts your power with it. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Do remember to leave a like if you liked the video, and if you haven't already, do ensure that you subscribe to the channel because there's more awesome content on the way. And as always, stay frosty, guys.